Ambassador Minjun Park stood at the center of the council chamber, his hands folded calmly in front of him. 3 species had been arguing for 2 hours about trade routes through the Verdan corridor. The Threxy wanted exclusive shipping rights. The Morlands claimed historical precedent. The Quillen Collective insisted their merchant vessels needed safe passage for medical supplies. Minjun had listened to every word. He had not interrupted once. "Perhaps," he said quietly, and the chamber fell silent. The council had learned that when the human ambassador spoke, his words carried weight. "Perhaps we are looking at this incorrectly. Commander Vextril, your people need those routes for resource transport. Dr. Quillen, your medical ships must pass through safely, and Representative Thorax, your historical claim to the corridor is documented in council records from 200 years ago." He paused, letting them absorb his words. What if the Threxy maintained security along the corridor, the Quillen medical ships traveled with priority clearance and no tariffs, and the Morlands received a percentage of trade fees as recognition of their historical claim? All 3 of you gain something. All 3 of you give something. The chamber was quiet for a long moment. Then, slowly, the 3 representatives nodded. "The human finds acceptable middle ground again," Commander Vextril said, his mandibles clicking in what Minjun had learned was approval. The session ended peacefully. Minjun gathered his data tablets and prepared to leave. He had been humanity's representative to the Galactic Council for 15 years. 15 years of careful diplomacy, patient negotiation, and measured words. 15 years of proving that humans could be trusted. As he walked through the corridor outside the chamber, he heard voices. He slowed his pace. "You see how calm they are?" That was Elder Vrax, the insectoid representative whose species had been part of the council for 3,000 years. "That is what concerns me." "Ambassador Park solved another dispute today," a younger voice replied. Talia, the aquatic species representative, had only joined the council 5 years ago. "He is skilled at finding peace." "Yes, peace." Vrax's voice carried a strange tone. "Young Talia, do you know why humans are so skilled at peace? Because they value it? Because they know the alternative too well?" Vrax's voice dropped lower. Minjun stopped walking, staying just out of sight. "I have studied their history. We all have. It is required before we allow any species to join the council." "I have read the files," Talia said. "Then you know. They once had thousands of weapons, each powerful enough to destroy an entire city. They pointed these weapons at themselves, at their own kind. They fought wars that killed millions. They created weapons designed only for efficiency in killing. They wrote manuals on how to destroy each other." "But they stopped," Talia protested. "They put away their weapons. They came to us with open hands." "Did they?" Vrax asked. "Or did they simply hide the fury? It is still there, Talia. I see it sometimes in Ambassador Park's eyes when someone threatens the innocent. I see it in their military officers when they think no one is watching. They carry violence inside them like a sleeping volcano." Minjun closed his eyes. 50 years. 50 years since humans had joined the galactic community, and still they were judged by their past. "The elders passed down a warning," Vrax continued. "Never push them too far. They stopped themselves before, but the fury remains. One day, someone will push, and we will see what humans truly are beneath their careful diplomacy." "That seems unfair," Talia said softly. "Perhaps, but caution keeps us alive." Minjun waited until their footsteps faded, then continued to his office. His assistant, a young human woman named Dr. Hana Yoon, was waiting with a cup of tea. "Rough session?" she asked. "No, productive, actually." He accepted the tea. "How is your work?" Hana was a xenobiologist, one of dozens of human scientists working on the council station. She spent her days studying interspecies diseases and developing treatments. She had friends from 6 different species. Good. I finally figured out why the Corthan respiratory system reacts badly to our oxygen ratio. It's actually fascinating. She stopped, looking at his face. What's wrong? Nothing. Min Jun. She had known him for 5 years. She could read his moods. Talk to me. He sighed. Do you ever get tired of being seen as dangerous? Even when we do everything right, they still fear us. Every day, she admitted. But what else can we do? We keep showing them who we really are. Eventually, they'll believe it. Before Min Jun could respond, an alert sounded on his communication device. He opened it, and his expression changed. What is it? Hana asked. Emergency council session. Now. He was already moving toward the door. There's been an incident. They hurried to the council chamber. Representatives from every species were arriving, their faces showing various expressions of concern or alarm. Min Jun found his seat just as Elder Vrax called the session to order. We have received distress signals from Research Station 12, Vrax announced. The station has been seized by the Kelvor Syndicate. They are holding 2,000 civilians hostage. 12 species are represented among the captives. Min Jun felt his chest tighten. How many humans? 47. Vrax's multiple eyes turned toward him, including several scientists and 3 children. The chamber erupted in voices. The Kelvor Syndicate was known throughout the galaxy as ruthless. They were pirates, mercenaries, and worse. They had no honor, no mercy, and no hesitation. We must respond immediately, Commander Vextril declared. His species, the Kryn, were the Council's primary military force. Send ships. Retake the station. Wait. Min Jun stood. We need to consider the hostages. A military assault could endanger their lives. And waiting could see them all executed, Vextril countered. Then we negotiate. We find out what they want. The Kelvor do not negotiate in good faith, Ambassador. Vrax's tone was patient, almost condescending. You are thinking with your emotions. Your people are among the hostages. I am thinking about all 2,000 lives, Min Jun said firmly, human and non-human. A precision rescue operation, careful negotiation. These give us the best chance of bringing everyone home safely. He looked around the chamber. He saw the doubt in their eyes. They were thinking of the warnings. Humans and their buried violence. Humans and their emotional responses. I appreciate your input, Ambassador, Vrax said. But this requires military expertise, not diplomatic idealism. The Council will authorize the Kryn Dominion to proceed with tactical assault. Min Jun wanted to argue further. He wanted to make them understand. But he had learned patience over 15 years. Sometimes you had to let others make their mistakes. He sat down slowly, pulled out his communication device, and sent a coded message to the one human military vessel currently in Council space. The message was simple. Observe. Do not interfere unless civilian lives are directly threatened. Prepare for rescue operations. Show them who we really are. He looked up at Elder Vrax, at the Council members already discussing military strategy. They thought they knew humans. They thought they understood what human fury looked like. They were about to learn the difference between fury and purpose, between rage and precision, between violence and strength. Min Jun just hoped the lesson would not cost too many lives. The emergency council session continued for another hour. Min Jun listened as military commanders from the Kryn Dominion outlined their assault plan. It was aggressive and fast. They would breach the station at 3 points, overwhelm the Kelvor forces with superior numbers, and secure the hostages. What about the station's life support systems? Min Jun asked. Research Station 12 was designed for scientific work, not combat. The environmental controls are delicate. We have accounted for this, Commander Vextril said. His tone suggested he did not appreciate questions. Our troops are trained in station assault operations. Have they trained on stations with helium atmosphere processors? Because Station 12 uses those, and they are extremely fragile. One weapon's discharge in the wrong section could poison the entire oxygen supply. Vextril's mandibles twitched with irritation. Ambassador Park, I understand you are concerned, but this is a military matter. This is a matter of 2,000 lives, Min Jun replied calmly. Which is exactly why we must act with force and speed, Vrax interjected. The Kelvor will not wait. Every hour we debate, they grow more desperate. Ambassador, your caution is noted, but in this case, it is misplaced. Min Jun looked around the chamber. He saw agreement on most faces. A few looked uncertain, including young Talia, but the majority had decided. I ask the council to reconsider, he said. Give me time to open communication channels. Let me try to negotiate. No. Vrax's voice was final. The council has made its decision. The Kryn assault begins in 2 hours. Min Jun sat down. As the meeting concluded, he felt a familiar weight in his chest. He remembered another hostage situation, years ago on Earth. His daughter Su Jin had been among those held. She was only 16 then, trapped in a building with 30 others while an armed man made impossible demands. Min Jun had been outside watching through police barriers. He had wanted to act, to do something, anything. But he had waited. He had trusted the negotiators. He had chosen patience over action, even as every instinct screamed at him to break down the doors himself. 8 hours later, the hostage-taker had surrendered. All 31 people had walked out alive. Su Jin had hugged him and said, I knew you would wait for the right moment, Dad. I knew you would not let them rush in. That memory steadied him now. Patience had value. Restraint had purpose. He left the council chamber and went directly to the docking bay where the human vessel was stationed. The Quiet Dawn was not a warship. It was registered as a medical and rescue vessel with a crew of 40. Its captain was Jiwoo Choi, a woman Min Jun had worked with before. Captain Choi was in her ready room when he arrived. She stood as he entered. I received your message, she said. Also received orders from Earth Command. They told me the same thing. Observe. Do not interfere. Be ready for rescue operations. The Council has authorized a Kryn military assault, Min Jun told her. It will begin in less than 2 hours. And you think it will fail? I think it will endanger the hostages. The Kelvor are brutal, but they are not stupid. They will have planned for a military response. Choi nodded slowly. What do you need from me? Be ready. When the assault goes wrong, and it will, be ready to offer an alternative. You want me to show them what humans can really do. I want you to show them who humans really are, Min Jun corrected. There is a difference. Back on the council station, Dr. Hana Yoon stood in the observation deck with Talia. They watched the Kryn military ships preparing to launch. This feels wrong, Talia said. Her translation device could not fully capture the emotion in her water-based speech, but Hana heard it anyway. It is wrong, Hana agreed. But sometimes people need to make mistakes before they learn. Ambassador Park tried to warn them. He did. They did not listen. They never do. Hana kept her voice neutral, but inside she felt frustrated. How many times did humans have to prove themselves? How many times did they have to choose peace before others would stop expecting war? The Kryn ships launched. They moved toward Research Station 12 in tight formation. Min Jun watched from the council chamber, where the entire session was being broadcast on large displays. The Kryn approach was textbook perfect. They came in fast, using 3 breach pods to enter the station simultaneously. Their soldiers moved with precision and discipline. Then everything went wrong. The Kelvor had been waiting. They had placed explosive charges throughout the station, not to destroy it, but to damage specific systems. As the Kryn forces breached, the charges detonated. On the display, Min Jun saw the atmospheric readings spike. The helium processors were damaged. Oxygen was mixing with toxic gases. "Pull back!" Vextril was shouting orders to his troops. "Evacuate now!" But the Kelvor were not finished. A message came through, broadcast across all channels. The voice was harsh and cold. "You have attacked us, so we will show you what happens when you attack the Kelvor Syndicate." On the display, a new image appeared. It showed a room full of hostages. The Kelvor commander, a being named Razik, stood among them. He held a weapon. "For every soldier you sent, we will kill one hostage. You sent 47 soldiers, so we begin with 47 deaths." The council chamber erupted in panic. Species representatives were shouting, demanding action, blaming each other. Minjun watched Razik raise his weapon toward a civilian. He stood. His voice cut through the chaos. "Stop!" The chamber fell silent. Every eye turned to him. "Stop this now! Recall the Kryn forces immediately!" "Ambassador Park, we cannot show weakness," Vrax began. "This is not weakness. This is saving lives." Minjun's voice was steady, but there was something in it that made even Elder Vrax pause. "You tried force. It failed. People are about to die because of that failure. So now, you will try something else." "And what would you suggest?" Commander Vextril demanded. Minjun looked directly at the display, at Razik, holding his weapon. He thought of his daughter in that building years ago. He thought of the negotiator who had talked for 8 hours straight. He thought of every lesson humans had learned from their own violent history. "Give me 1 hour," he said. "Just 1 hour to show you what human fury really looks like." The chamber was silent. Minjun could feel their doubt, their fear, their old prejudices surfacing. They thought he was about to unleash violence. They thought he was about to prove all their warnings correct. Elder Vrax spoke slowly. 1 hour. But Ambassador, if you fail, if more civilians die because of your methods, humanity's place on this council will be questioned. Understood. Minjun opened a communication channel directly to Captain Choi. "Captain, you are authorized to proceed. Show them." On the quiet dawn, Captain Choi received the message. She looked at her crew. They were not soldiers. They were medical staff, engineers, communication specialists, scientists. They carried scanners, not weapons. They had equipment designed to save lives, not take them. "All hands," she announced. "Prepare for intervention. We have 1 hour to do what the Kryn military could not. We have 1 hour to save 2,000 lives without firing a single shot." Her crew moved to their stations. They began scanning Research Station 12 with every sensor they had. They pulled up files, records, data streams. They gathered information with the same intensity that others might gather weapons, because humans had learned something over their long, violent history. They had learned that the most dangerous weapon was not the one that killed. It was the one that made killing unnecessary. The quiet dawn moved toward Research Station 12 slowly, broadcasting peaceful intentions on all frequencies. Inside the council chamber, representatives watched with nervous anticipation. Some expected violence, others expected failure. All of them expected something dramatic. What they got was information. Captain Choi stood on her bridge, surrounded by her crew's data displays. They had worked for 30 minutes straight, pulling records from every database they could access legally. They had also accessed a few they could not, though no one needed to know that detail. "Do we have everything?" she asked. "Yes, Captain." That was Lieutenant Park Min-seo, no relation to the ambassador despite sharing a surname. He had spent 5 years in intelligence before joining the Quiet Dawn. "Full profiles on all 23 Kelvor members currently on that station. Family connections, financial records, medical histories, psychological profiles, everything. And the legal team has verified we can use this information? We are not threatening to harm anyone. We are simply sharing what we know and what we can do." Min-seo smiled slightly. "Completely legal." "Good." Choi opened a direct communication channel to the station. Attention Research Station 12. This is Captain Ji-Woo Choi of the human vessel Quiet Dawn. We are here to talk. On the station, Razik watched the human ship approach. He had chosen this target carefully. Research Station 12 held multiple species, including humans. He had calculated that the Council would be too afraid of human rage to respond effectively. They would hesitate, negotiate, give him time to make his demands. The Kryn assault had surprised him, but he had prepared for it. Now, he had killed 3 hostages as promised, and the Council had pulled back. Everything was going according to his plan, until the humans arrived. "We do not talk with the Council," Razik responded. "We have demands. Meet them, or more hostages die." "We are not here to discuss your demands," Captain Choi said calmly. "We are here to discuss you. Razik, son of Kelvor Prime, born in the Southern Territories 42 years ago. You have 2 younger siblings. Your brother runs a transport business. Your sister teaches at a school for young children." Razik felt cold fear slide through him. How did they know this? The human captain continued, her voice never rising, never showing anger. "You have 17 members of your syndicate on that station with you. We have files on all of them. Vex, your second-in-command, has a daughter who is dying of Varaxian flu. There is no cure available in Kelvor space. Thorn has 3 sons in debt to the Merchant Guild. Sevara's mother is in a medical facility that she cannot afford." A new voice came through the communication channel. It was male, also human, with the same quiet tone. "I am Sergeant Lee Kyung-soo. I work with information security. We have spent the last 30 minutes learning everything about you and your crew. We know where your families live. We know where they work. We know their daily routines, their friends, their vulnerabilities. We could reach them before you could send a warning." Razik's hand tightened on his weapon. "You threaten our families? This is your human fury?" "No," Sergeant Lee said. "This is just information. Here is the important part. We will not touch your families. We will not harm them. We will not even contact them unless you want us to." Razik was confused. This was not how enemies spoke. "What do you want?" "We want to offer you a choice." Captain Choi spoke again. "You have 17 crew members. 3 of them have families with medical emergencies. We have the supplies and treatments they need. 5 of you have family members in financial crisis. We can resolve those debts. 2 of you are running from legal problems that were not your fault. We can provide legal assistance." On the council station, Elder Vrax leaned forward. "What are they doing?" "Something unexpected," Minjun replied. He had worked with Captain Choi before. He knew her methods. She did not fight. She solved problems. On the Quiet Dawn's bridge, Dr. Sarah Chen prepared medical transport containers. She was the ship's lead physician, and she had personally verified the treatments they were offering. "The cure for Varaxian flu is ready," she reported. "So are the immunosuppressants, the regenerative compounds, and the pain management supplies. If they accept, I can have medical drones deliver them within 20 minutes. Captain Choi nodded and reopened the channel. "Razik, I am sending you medical data now. Your crew member Vex has a daughter named Lyra. She is 6 years old. She has been sick for 8 months. The treatment we are offering will cure her completely within 3 days. You can verify this with any medical professional." There was silence from the station. Then, "Why would you do this?" "Because Lyra is 6 years old, and she does not deserve to die because of choices adults made," Captain Choi said simply. "Because Thorn's sons should not suffer for debts that were fraudulently placed on them. Because Sevara's mother worked honestly for 60 years and deserves medical care in her old age. And because you and your crew are not monsters. You are people who made choices based on limited options." "We are holding 2,000 hostages," Razik said. "We have already killed 3. You should be attacking us, not offering help. We could attack. We could destroy your ship, your bases, your resources. We have the capability. But that would not bring those 3 people back to life. It would not save the remaining hostages. It would just create more death. Captain Choi paused. We have another option. Which is? You release the hostages. All of them. In return, we provide the medical treatments, we resolve the debts, we offer legal assistance. We also provide safe passage for your crew to neutral territory. No pursuit, no revenge. Razik laughed bitterly. And then what? We are criminals. The council will hunt us. Actually, Sergeant Lee interjected, we are also offering something else. Rehabilitation programs, job training, legitimate work opportunities. We know why most of you joined the Kelvor Syndicate. Limited choices. Desperate circumstances. Systems that failed you. We can provide better choices. You expect us to believe you? Razik demanded. We expect you to verify, Captain Choi said. We are transmitting proof of the medical supplies, proof of the financial resources we have allocated, and proof of the rehabilitation programs. Check with your own sources. Take 30 minutes. Verify everything we have said. Then make your choice. She closed the channel. Her crew looked at her. Do you think they will accept? Lieutenant Park asked. Some of them will, Captain Choi said, and that will be enough. On the station, Razik turned to his crew. Vex was already accessing the transmitted data, his hands shaking. It is real, Vex said quietly. The treatment for my daughter. It is real. This is cutting-edge medicine. It actually works. Thorne checked the financial data. The debt resolution is legitimate. They have set up verified accounts. This is enough to free my sons. Savara was crying. My mother could get the surgery she needs. After all these years, she could finally be without pain. Razik felt control slipping away. He had expected military force. He had expected threats. He had expected anything except this practical, precise offer of help. This is a trick, he said. It must be. What kind of trick? Vex asked. They are offering to help our families. They are offering us a way out that does not end in death or prison. Even if it is a trick, even if they arrest us after, at least our families will be safe. They are humans, Razik said. Everyone knows humans are violent. They will betray us. They just killed 3 hostages, another crew member said. Oh, wait, no. That was us. The humans have not hurt anyone. Razik looked around at his crew. He saw doubt in their eyes, doubt in him, doubt in this entire operation. Everything was falling apart, and the humans had not fired a single shot. 20 minutes passed in tense silence. The council watched their displays. The quiet dawn maintained its position, making no aggressive moves. Captain Choi waited with the patience of someone who knew that real change took time. Then the communication channel opened again. We want proof, Razik said. Real proof, not just data files. Understood. Captain Choi nodded to Dr. Chen. We are sending a medical drone with a sample of the Varaxian flu treatment. It will arrive at your docking port in 3 minutes. You can test it however you want. We are also transferring one of the debt payments to a neutral account that Thorne can verify independently. If this is a trick, Razik warned, it is not a trick. It is an offer. But we need something in return. Release 50 hostages as a gesture of good faith. Show us you are willing to negotiate seriously. The channel closed. On the council station, Commander Vextril spoke with barely controlled anger. They are negotiating with terrorists. This is unacceptable. They are saving lives, Minjun replied quietly. Watch. 3 minutes later, a small medical drone approached the station. It carried a sealed container with the medicine. Razik's crew brought it inside and immediately began testing it. Vex personally verified the chemical composition. It is exactly what they said, Vex reported, his voice shaking. "This will save Lyra. This will save my daughter." At the same time, Thorne received confirmation that a substantial payment had been transferred to a secure account. The amount was exactly what was needed to clear his son's debts. "They did it," Thorne said, disbelief in his voice. "They actually did it." Razik felt the situation spiraling away from him. His crew was looking at him with new expressions: hope, possibility, and beneath that, something more dangerous: doubt in his leadership. "We release 50 hostages," he decided. "But that is all, until we see more proof." Over the next hour, 50 hostages were released. They came through the docking port in small groups, frightened but alive. The Quiet Dawn's medical team immediately began treating them, checking for injuries, providing comfort. Captain Choi kept her promise. More medical supplies were delivered. Another debt payment was confirmed. The Kelvor crew members with family in crisis saw real evidence that help was coming. Then everything changed again. Captain Choi opened a private channel directly to Razik. "I need to tell you something. Your second-in-command, Vex, is planning to kill you and take control of the syndicate. He will make his move in approximately 18 minutes. Razik felt ice in his blood. "How could you possibly know this?" "Because we are monitoring all communications on that station, internal and external. Vex has been sending encrypted messages to 3 other crew members. They plan to shoot you and take the remaining hostages to a different location. They think the humans will negotiate with them just as easily as with you." "Why would you tell me this?" Razik demanded. "Why warn me?" "Because we do not want anyone else to die. Not hostages, not you, not even Vex." Captain Choi's voice remained calm. "Vex is making this choice because he is desperate to save his daughter. Desperation makes people do terrible things. We understand that. But if he kills you, more people will die in the fighting that follows. We are trying to prevent that." "You could be lying. This could be a trick to make me turn on my own crew." "It could be. Or you could check your internal security feeds for the storage bay where Vex and 3 others are gathering right now. Check and see if I am lying." Razik checked. His hands were shaking as he pulled up the security feed. There, in the storage bay, exactly as the human captain had said, were Vex and 3 other crew members. They were checking their weapons. For the first time in his long criminal career, Razik felt completely out of control. The humans knew everything. They saw everything. They could have let Vex kill him. They could have let his crew tear itself apart. Instead, they warned him. He made a decision. He walked to the storage bay alone, opened the door, and stood facing Vex. "I know," he said simply. "The humans told me." Vex's weapon was already in his hand. The 3 others with him tensed. For a long moment, no one moved. "My daughter is dying," Vex said. "I will do whatever it takes to save her." "I know. The humans know too. They have already sent the medicine. Lyra will live, Vex. She will live without you becoming a murderer. Why should I trust them?" "Why should I trust anyone? Because they just saved my life when they could have let you kill me. Because they offered help before they offered violence. Because they are doing something I have never seen before in this galaxy." Razik lowered his voice. "They are acting like they actually care." The standoff held for another minute. Then Vex lowered his weapon. "I am tired," Vex said quietly. "I am so tired of running and fighting and hurting people. If there is really a way out, if there is really a chance for something different, I want to take it." While this was happening on the station, the Council received another message from Captain Choi. "We are requesting permission to send a small team to the station to assist with repairs and medical treatment. The team will consist of engineers and medical staff only, no weapons, no soldiers." "Absolutely not," Commander Vextril said. "You cannot send people onto a hostile station." "Those people are our specialists," Captain Choi replied. "They have volunteered, and we believe the situation is changing." Based on what evidence? Based on the fact that humans are very good at one thing: understanding desperation. We have all been desperate at some point in our history. We know what it looks like. Min-jun looked at the display showing the station. He made a decision. I support the human request. Send your team, Captain Choi. This is reckless, Vrax protested. This is trust, Min-jun countered. Something we have asked for from this council for 50 years. Perhaps it is time we demonstrated it ourselves. The small human team launched from the quiet dawn. 5 people, 3 engineers, and 2 medical staff. They were led by a young woman named Soo-jin Park, the ambassador's daughter who had trained for years in crisis response and emergency engineering. They docked with the station. The airlock opened. Soo-jin and her team stepped through, carrying equipment and supplies but no weapons. Razik was waiting for them, his own weapon holstered but visible. You are either very brave or very stupid, he said. We are neither, Soo-jin replied calmly. We are just doing what needs to be done. Your life support system is damaged. If we do not fix it soon, everyone on this station will have serious problems. May we begin repairs? For a long moment, Razik just stared at her. Then he stepped aside. The environmental controls are 3 levels down. I will have someone show you the way. Soo-jin and her team moved through the station. They passed frightened hostages and armed Kelvor crew members. No one stopped them. They reached the damaged environmental system and immediately began working. As they worked, one of the Kelvor crew members approached. His weapon was pointed at them, his hand shaking. You should not be here, he said. You should not trust us. Soo-jin looked up from her work. She saw a young man, barely more than a teenager, holding a weapon like it might bite him. What is your name? She asked. Keth. Keth, I am going to continue repairing this system. If you shoot me, you will hit the processor behind me, and everyone on this station will suffocate within an hour. I do not think you are the kind of person who wants that. So I am going to trust that you will not shoot, and I am going to keep working. Is that acceptable? Keth stared at her. Then, slowly, he lowered his weapon. I do not understand you, he said. Any of you. You should hate us. We took hostages. We killed people. Yes, you did. And that was wrong. But hating you will not bring those people back. It will not fix this station. It will not make anything better. Soo-jin returned to her work. So instead, I am choosing to help, because help is always an option, even when it seems like it should not be. Keth stood there for another moment. Then he did something that surprised everyone. He set down his weapon and picked up a tool. Tell me what to do, he said. I will help. Together, they began repairing the system that would keep everyone alive. Over the next 3 hours, the situation on Research Station 12 transformed. Soo-jin's team worked alongside Kelvor crew members to repair the life support systems. Dr. Chen's medical staff treated injured hostages and even provided care for Kelvor members who had minor injuries. No weapons were fired, no threats were made. One by one, hostages were released. Small groups at first, then larger ones. Each group was greeted by the Quiet Dawn's crew with medical care, warm food, and patient kindness. Captain Choi maintained constant communication with Razik. She did not demand. She did not threaten. She simply explained options and let him choose. You have released 1,400 hostages, she told him. 600 remain. What do you need to release the rest? Proof that my crew will be safe. Real proof, not just promises. Understood. We have arranged for a neutral observer from the Quillen Collective to verify our rehabilitation facilities. She is sending her report now. The report arrived. It was detailed and honest. The rehabilitation program was real. It included job training, counseling, legal assistance, and housing support. It was not prison, but it was not freedom without accountability either. Those who accept the program will be monitored, Captain Choi explained. You will have to work honestly and make amends where possible, but you will also have genuine opportunities to build different lives. Lives where you do not need to take hostages to survive. Razik read the report carefully. Then he called his crew together. I am releasing the remaining hostages, he announced. Anyone who wants to accept the human offer can do so. Anyone who wants to run can leave on our ship. I will not force anyone to stay. His crew looked at each other. Then Vex spoke. I am accepting their offer. My daughter will be cured. I want to be there for her recovery. I want to be someone she can be proud of. One by one, others agreed. Out of 17 crew members, 14 chose to accept the rehabilitation program. 3 chose to leave, including one who had been with the syndicate for 20 years and could not imagine another life. For those leaving, Captain Choi said, you have 6 hours to exit this sector. After that, we will track you. We will not kill you, but we will find you, and we will make you face the consequences of your choices. That is not a threat. It is a promise. The 3 who chose to flee left quickly in their ship. Captain Choi watched them go, then turned to her communications officer. Mark their ship's signature. Send the information to our tracking network. They think they are escaping, but we will know where they are within a day. Should we pursue now? The officer asked. No, we gave them 6 hours. We keep our promises. All of them. The final hostages were released. They emerged from the station frightened, exhausted, but alive. Medical teams immediately began treating them. Counselors spoke with those who needed emotional support. Families were reunited. In the council chamber, the representatives watched everything unfold in real time. The silence was profound. Finally, Elder Vrax spoke. They did it. They saved the hostages without military force. They did more than that, Talia said quietly. They changed the Kelvor crew members. 14 of them chose a different path because the humans offered them one. Commander Vextril's mandibles clicked in an expression the humans had learned meant deep thought. I do not understand their methods. That is because their methods require something we forgot, Minjun said softly. They require believing that people can change, that enemies can become something else, that mercy is not weakness, but a different kind of strength. A formal council session was called to review the crisis response. Species who had lost citizens in the early hostage killings spoke with grief and anger. But they also acknowledged that the human intervention had prevented further deaths. A representative from the Quillen Collective stood. I must ask the Council to investigate why our military response failed so badly. Why was Ambassador Park's warning ignored? Why did we choose force when negotiation was possible? The ambassador is human, Vrax said slowly. And we did not trust him because of that. Because we fear what humans might be, we ignored what they actually are. Talia rose from her seat. She was young, inexperienced, but her voice was clear. Elder Vrax, you once told me to be cautious of humans because of their capacity for violence. You said they carried fury inside them like a sleeping volcano. You were right. They do carry that capacity. But what we missed, what I think you missed, is that they also carry the strength to choose not to use it. That choice is harder than violence. That choice requires more courage. She turned to address the full council. How many times must humans choose mercy before we trust them? How many times must they prove restraint before we stop expecting rage? They have been part of this council for 50 years, 50 years of peaceful negotiation, 50 years of choosing dialogue over destruction. And still, we doubt them. Still, we push them away because of what they might do, not what they have done. The chamber was silent. Then slowly, Elder Vrax stood. Young Talia is correct. The Council owes humanity an apology. More than that, we owe them recognition. He turned to face Min Jun. Ambassador Park, I have studied your species' history since before you joined us. I have feared you because of what your ancestors did. I forgot to observe what you yourselves have chosen to become. He made a formal gesture of respect, something rarely seen from a species as ancient as his. I propose the Council establish a new position, Crisis Negotiation Specialists. I propose that humans be trained for and offered these positions, as they have demonstrated skills we clearly lack. The vote was quick and unanimous. Humans would now be trusted with some of the Council's most sensitive operations. After the session ended, Minjun found himself alone in the observation deck. He was tired, emotionally drained, but satisfied. His daughter Su-Jin found him there. "We did it, Dad," she said, standing beside him. "Captain Choi and her crew did it. I just watched. You gave them the chance. You asked the Council to trust us even when they did not want to." Minjun looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the 3 Kelvor who had chosen to flee were running. And somewhere else, 14 others were beginning rehabilitation programs that might change their lives forever. "Do you remember the hostage situation when you were 16? He asked. "Every day. You waited when everyone else wanted to rush in. You trusted the negotiators, and we all survived because of that. I was so afraid. Every instinct told me to break down the doors. But you did not. You chose patience over panic. You chose restraint over reaction." Su-Jin smiled. "Just like we did today. The Council thought we would answer their crisis with fury. Everyone expects fury from humans. Then they do not understand us very well. We learned what fury costs. We learned it from our own history, from our own mistakes. When we finally reached for the stars, we reached with open hands, not closed fists." Minjun nodded. "Not because we cannot make fists, but because we choose not to," Su-Jin finished. Far below them, Dr. Hana Yoon was having tea with Talia in the station's common area. They were discussing a joint research project on cross-species immunology. Around them, other species representatives passed by, and for the first time in years, no one stepped away from the humans. No one watched them with wary suspicion. "Things are changing," Talia observed. "Slowly, but yes, changing." Hana smiled. "Thank you for speaking up in the Council. That took courage. You are all courage. The whole crisis, your people never once threatened violence. You offered help, even to enemies. How do you do that?" "Practice," Hana said simply. "Centuries of practice at being better than our worst impulses." That evening, in his private quarters, Elder Vrax recorded an entry in his journal. It was a practice his species had maintained for millennia, recording observations and lessons learned. He wrote, "Today, I learned I have been asking the wrong questions about humans for 50 years. I asked what would happen if their fury was released. I should have asked what it takes to contain fury day after day, year after year, generation after generation. I should have asked what strength is required to choose mercy when violence would be easier. I should have wondered about their compassion, not their capacity for destruction. The elders murmured of Earth's fury. We were fools. We should have wondered about their mercy instead." On the quiet dawn, Captain Choi stood on her bridge, watching the stars. Her crew was resting after their long ordeal. 14 former criminals were in their rehabilitation quarters, beginning the long process of building new lives. "Captain," Lieutenant Park approached, "we are receiving commendations from 6 different species. The Council wants to meet with you formally." "Noted. Make sure the crew knows they did well today." "Captain, may I ask a question?" "Go ahead. Did you ever doubt? Did you ever think our methods would not work?" Captain Choi considered the question. "Every moment. But doubt is not a reason to abandon principle. We chose our methods because we believe in them, not because we know they will always succeed. That is what makes them principles." She looked at the image of Research Station 12 on her display. The station's lights were steady now, systems repaired, life returning to normal. 2,000 people were alive because humans had chosen to be patient, precise, and compassionate. "Send a message to Earth Command," she said. Mission successful. All hostages recovered. 0 casualties from our intervention. 14 enemies chose rehabilitation over continued criminal activity. Methods proved effective. As the message was sent, the Quiet Dawn prepared to depart. Behind it, Research Station 12 continued its work. Around it, the Council's understanding of humanity shifted, slowly but permanently. And throughout the galaxy, a new story began to spread. Not about human fury, though the capacity remained, but about human choice. About a species that had learned from its violent past and chosen a different future. About open hands instead of closed fists. About the quiet answer that came when death was expected. The elders had murmured of Earth's fury. They had scoffed at human restraint, and death had answered quietly. Not today.